Hi, and welcome to this new Smode Academy session. So today I'm really happy to welcome an excellent smodder, which is Jordi Masso from Barcelona.
Hello.
Uh, Hello, Jordi.
Hello, Francis. How are you?
Um, Very fine. I'm very good, and I hope you are too.
Yeah, I'm fine and happy to be here with you.
Excellent. So to do the little story, Jordi works with Jose, which is the founder of the content creation studio called EYESBERG, which is based in Barcelona in Spain. And they both discovered Smode together back 3 years ago in 2017. And they really fall in love with the software, I think, but Jordi will tell us better than me. And very quickly, they developed their own techniques and went very far in some topics that we didn't explore yet. And they very quickly, like in a few months, adopted the full Smode workflow and applied it in some very innovative ways and surprising creative ways. So it was really a very good example of how in a few years the apparition of SMOD can deeply impact the workflow and the whole process from the first ideas to the event itself. And one thing Jordi really developed far is the way to use the new PBR rendering and the spherical camera in Smode in order to create content for domes. So he really specialized into this, and also in a workflow with C4D and Substance. So everything of this will be explained, I think, today by him. And also last year we did the first content creation contest for Smud, which was called 21st Century, and Jordi won the contest. So maybe before starting, I suggest we have a look at his entry of last year contest. So that was his entry, and he won the contest with this. And today he will explain us some of these techniques to get this type of renderings, and especially in the context of content creation for domes. And also maybe he will explain us some of the technicals behind dome video mappings also. So I have spoken enough. Let's give the mic to Jordi and hope you enjoy this Mod Academy session.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Francis. So, as Francis said, Jose and I discovered Smodes in 2017. Uh, at that time, we were mainly using Cinema 4D, After Effects, and then Resolume or Watch Out sometimes. But then suddenly we discovered Smode, and it was like, wow, we really need to use this software in our workflow. So um, things become really easy when you can work in real time and on the real stage. So yeah, this was really mind changing for us, to the point that today I'm not even using After Effects anymore, almost. So Smode has become our main tool. Since I'm on both sides of the production workflow, so I'm on the content design side, but I also really like the technical side of it, like go on stage and do the projector setup and the warping and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it now it's the core of my workflow is Smode. And yeah, we at Iceberg Studio we do many audiovisual installations like video mappings, interactive LED shows, and basically everything that it's not related to like a traditional flat screen, but more related to that like video mapping and crazy installations. And one of our strengths is like the full dome projection. We own two big domes in the studio. One is bigger, the other is smaller. So yeah, I will try to show you how we can do a project related to Dome Master. So yeah, I think I can start with the software, Francis, or I don't know if you want to.
And just I remind you that if you have any questions during the live, you can chat on the YouTube live, and I will be looking at the questions and will answer them. So we have a first question, which is the entry in the Smode contest. Is it fully real time?
Uh, Almost. Since I pushed the depth of field effect, finally I was like at around 23, 24 frames per second. I'm using an MSI laptop with a 1070 GPU. So yeah, but mainly it was because of the depth of field effect that was asking for more strongest power to the machine. But without that effect, yeah, the composition works in real time. This is something that when you try to push the 3D side of the software, you can lose the meaning of real time really fast because you depend on your hardware. But as Erwan told me one day, two FPS is still real time, so it's better to work on 2 FPS and then do a render than just have to wait 10 minutes for one frame. So yeah, at least the one for the contest was almost real time, 24 FPS.
Okay, thank you for your answer, and I think you can start.
Okay, good. So first thing we must understand when working for a dome is the aspect ratio of the composition. In full dome, we work in a 1:1 aspect ratio. So for now, we'll just start with creating a comp. And now we'll go to maybe 2K square, 60 frames. We usually render at 4K, but now for the example, we'll just go to 2K square. So that's the first thing. Yeah.
I think, Jordi, that the machine is reasonably good and should be able
So we can push it, right?
we can at least try, and we will.
Okay, and then okay, so let's go for the 4 key. Yeah, so that's the first thing we must understand when working on dome is this kind of aspect ratio, and now you will see why. Here in Smode, we have this spherical camera, which basically what it is, it's like a rig of 6 cameras stitched together, so they give you then the final correct stitched image. So that's the kind of camera we are going to use in DOM, but we need to change this to the wrap type to the DOM master. Right now it's like in a rectangular mode, which many of you will know what it is. It's like when you use an HDRI image, usually it comes in an rectangular mode. It's the format for 360 VR, for example. But now we want to use this DOM master camera. We use this because now if we create a cube, for example, let's create a box, just change its default surface to path, let's say, and now let's add some light here, maybe an environment light, so we can start seeing something. Okay, as you see, this cube, now just make sure you understand, the camera is inside the cube. So what this DOM master camera is doing is this kind of distortion that you can see here. This is needed because since domes are basically an hemisphere, what the DOM master camera is doing is calculating the needed distortion in order to be displayed correctly when then we project this on the it's kind of a camera mapping effect. I'm sure many of you know this concept. So what the DOM master camera is doing is basically calculating this needed deformation just to appear then flat on the full dome when projected. So here in the camera we have some parameters that we need to know also. One is this one over here, is the dome degrees. There are many domes that are not exactly hemisphere, like the ones we have in EYESBERG Studio are bigger than 180 degrees. So here, for example, you can change this to 2010, which is the one that we have. And now you see that we have much more wide point of view on this. The other thing that we need to know is this cube map resolution. Basically, as I showed you before, this is a rig made out of 6 cameras. So basically, this cube map resolution, it's the resolution for each of these cameras. So since we are working on 4K square, we will need to increase this a little bit. For now, we should start with 1024, but just know that possibly before rendering it, we will increase this to, let's say, 2000 for 2000 or something like this, because especially it really helps you to get a better resolution, especially on objects that are really far or with some straight edges like this that gives you aliasing. So you can better correct this, increasing the cube map resolution. But maybe Francis can explain this a little bit better than me.
Yeah, I think you explained it quite well. So the spherical camera is a rig of 6 cameras. So it's going to make 6 renderings of the scene. And, so we can see this maybe more easily with the cross mode. So inside this cross mode, sorry, the cross, where is it?
No.
Yeah, not updated. So these are the 6 renderings. So the current aspect ratio is not good anymore, but it shows the 6 renderings that are made. And each of these rendering is, in this case, 1024 by 1024. So maybe we can try 2048.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
So now we are doing ×4 on the number of pixels. because this is both the width and the height of every single of the 6 renders that is being made. So back to the Dome Master and this 210 degree in order to go below the horizon.
Good.
I'll let you continue.
So first I'm gonna save this, just this is the most important step. Here in Compo, yeah.
So as usual, we will put the files available online after the live, so as for any other session.
Okay, so to start, maybe we can do some texturing here, made from scratch inside the Smode, just not using any texture, but layering some noises. Since this box right now has a UV map that is the same for each of the faces, the texture will be repeated on any of them. But right now I don't really care about this, so let's just make a compo, call it noise texture, for example, and we'll change this aspect ratio also to, this is going to be the texture resolution, so we are going to change it to maybe 4K by 2K by 2K, it's going to be good. And then we'll share this. I think you showed the share element in the previous episodes of Smode Academy, but if not,
Yeah, we actually still need to do a real
some
lesson on the third element because it was already used multiple times, but without a real explanation. But
okay.
basically, some elements enables to reuse the same, to share the same subtree in different locations of the tree. But you will maybe better explain for the.
Yeah, basically what the share element allows you is to have one element repeated many times as you want, but it allows you to just change the parameter from the shared one, so then the copies will be updated on the same time. And I'm going to use this just because I want to use the same texture that we are going to create here for different channels here on the PBR, like on the albedo, on the roughness, on the normal, for example. So yeah, we'll start with this noise, then we will add noise here. Okay, yeah, first I'm going to share this. And now we can just apply it to the
Now
albedo.
that
I
you
need to,
share,
yeah.
maybe you can explain what happens just after the share. So we have the shared element which is here. So our actual pre-compo is in this bottom element, and here the previous location has been replaced by a reference to the shared elements. So if we still need this reference, we can keep it, but if we don't need it, we can
No,
change it.
but just for now, it's good to have it just to explain another thing related to DOMs. As you see, this layer is here, but we don't see it. This is because we have a DOM master camera set it as the current camera and the compositing. So this camera doesn't. I only captures 3D elements. So all the 2D elements are not gonna be displayed by this camera. So and later on, I will show you how to work with 2D files on a full DOM environment. But yeah, for now, just delete it. Okay, now I need to change this to layer. So now I can apply my texture here. If you drag and drop pressing Control Alt, you just with Control you make a copy, and with the Alt button you just overwrite this here. So yeah, now we have this noise. I'm gonna do this because yesterday I saw that someone asked if we have the same noise types as Cinema 4D. No, in Cinema 4D there are like 20 or maybe or something like this. Here we don't have that much, but yeah, you start layering and and changing the noise type and tweaking the parameters, you can get some textures. So yeah, for example, this could be, I don't know, a fractured cell. No, I don't know. Let's try with this one. For example, change its scale to make it bigger. This is going to be like the base material. Then we can just duplicate this, set it into multiply. We can change here the noise to, I don't know, let's try a cell. Let me just change this so we can see the cube a little better. Usually I have like an HDRI library, which mainly comes from the website that the other day was showed here, which is HDRI Haven. But since now I don't have any of these libraries, I'm just gonna use, yeah, this is okay, maybe just press this a little bit, no. Yeah, something like this. So now we see this a bit better. So yeah, the idea is, I'm not gonna lose that more time here, but yeah, you can do crazy things if you spend a bit of time just looking for the effect that you want.
Maybe you can show us the 3D rendering so we get an idea of what's happening. The 3D viewport?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, also I'm gonna check this. So yeah, as I was saying, you can actually create many crazy compositions here, just playing with the octaves to get some more detail. I don't know, you can play and really have some fun with this. But yeah, I don't know, right now maybe I'm gonna keep it something at around here. Yeah, because the idea was just to show how can you share this image across the object. So just create a layer here and apply this to the roughness also, and let's apply it to the normal. So for the normal map, we have a really cool effect here, which is the depth to normal. What it basically does, it takes a black and white image and just convert it to a normal map. But it's really black here, so maybe we can just push this a little bit and add before the depth to normal. We can add some brightness and contrast just to push it a little bit. Yeah, something like this. So yeah, now we see the normal is affecting also the box, and now we are starting to have like small details like here that are driven by the roughness map. Also, which is good about this is that you can use one texture only, but then you can came here and just say, okay, I'm gonna want to change the exposure here. Or for example, in the color, now I want to colorize here, but this is good because you have like a basic layer set here, but then you can just do some different post-po effects on each of the channels that you applied. So Yeah, that's good. I don't know. Something like this. Yeah, good. Also, as I told you, since this is using the same UV map for each of the faces, we can actually fake a little bit the ambient occlusion, so we will see darker areas here. So this will help to sell the effect also. So to do this, I'm just going to use the same workflow down here. I'm going to create a composition, share it. No, first of all, we are going to change the resolution to 2K by 2K. Name it AO, ambient occlusion, and just share it. And change this to layer. This is not relevant anymore. And okay, let's put this. What I'm gonna do here is basically I'm gonna create first a black layer, which is gonna be the base, and then I'm gonna create another one here, which is gonna be like white, sorry, and we will use this to mask the other one. So let's create a mask here, placement mask, and play with the feather. Now, as you see, we start to have this kind of black area here, which tries to simulate a little bit the ambient occlusion. And now it's a matter of playing with these parameters here until you find some place that it's good for you. Like maybe we're gonna keep it like this. Is there any question, Francis?
No, we have no questions yet. I was thinking that maybe you could visualize the AO map just with the green arrow. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do it.
basically what it's doing is on the white parts we have like no occlusion, or on the black ones we have the occlusion. So in this case it's pretty useful, because since the texture is the same on every side of the square, this really helps us to add like a bit of shadowing there, and
Yeah,
just make
clearly.
it a bit more realistic.
Maybe also I really do appreciate to use the ambient occlusion, and thank you for this.
Sorry?
And maybe I really appreciate you use the ambient occlusion, because this is indeed one of the keys to make it.
Yeah, also I'm gonna show later on the second part, which my workflow is always modeling in Cinema 4D, trying to texture everything in Substance Painter, but also making the ambient occlusion map. So this, as I said before, this helps to sell the effect.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds very exciting. And maybe just before proceeding, you can explain why you did a shared element for the AO, although it's only used at one place.
I think it's a matter of I don't know. I did it like this because I'm really I
Actually,
really use
many users
I
do this.
use I use the share elements that much, and I think it's easier for me to have this here than here on the occlusion layer. So then I have to open this, open the compo, open the other one, open the other one, and that way I can just have my box and check it here. Just came here and add another layer if I want, or I don't know. It's at least it becomes easier for me to have it like in a shared element than inside the. But yeah, since we are just gonna use this here, we could have done it inside the occlusion layer.
I actually see many experimented users working like this and using shared compose as a way to get a quick access to what is inside those pre-comps and to avoid to go deep inside the tree. in order to change things.
Yeah, it's kind of the same than sharing an element. Like you teach this like some episodes before, but I don't know if in your final chain you have like a brightness and contrast, and you are always playing with that brightness. It's easier to just come here and expose the parameter, so you always have it here, and then you can avoid just open and open and open and open the element tree. So yeah, we will. I think we will see many use cases of the shared elements because I really use it a lot. So yeah, we can move forward now, and we will continue using it for the other things that I'm gonna show.
Don't hesitate to ask on the live chat if this was not clear.
It's good also this depth to map, depth to normal effect, because you can really play with the softness of it. So if you want to have a more intense kind of normal effect, you can just play with this. But yeah, this is all for now, for just some kind of fast texturing here. I know it's not the best texture maybe, but at least it's good enough, it's fast, it's cheap for the system, and it's modular, so you can just come here and change the parameters of every layer. Is this in normal? No, this is not good. Multiply. So yeah, actually I'm going to come back to what I have before because I think it looks better. But yeah, it's good because now you can just change and change and change, and with a pretty simple rig. So then I'll show how to, for example, apply some kind of Morph effects here to do a kind of a transition to what could be another scene in the movie. It's good to have the cube here because it's like a cliche on the dome, because it's when you get into the dome, you know you are inside the sphere, but when someone's project a cube, you feel like you are inside the cube. So it's like it's a shape that works really good on domes, just because of this strange effect that makes on you, because you know you are not on a cube, but you are actually seeing a cube. So we will work with this. And yeah, one of the effects I really like on to work on 3D is the transform triangles. For those who uses Cinema 4D, it's similar to the old PolyFX deformer. It basically destroys the mesh into small triangles, depending on the resolution that your mesh have here. So right now, if I just push this down a little bit, you see what it's doing, right? It's like applying this scale on the z-axis for each of the small pieces. If I now increase the resolution here, we'll see more triangles and more triangles and more triangles. This is just to illustrate that what the effect is doing. So what thing that I really do is, for example, let's imagine we have this box and we want to do some kind of peeling effect just to clear all the mesh and have just a transparent image finally. What I will do is just use these transform triangles, just put the scales on 0 here. And now you don't see the object. You don't see the object because the transform triangles has its intensity on 100%. But we can just control this with a mask. And in this case, I'm going to use a noise 3D mask. I could use a noise 2D, but as with the texture, it will do the same pattern on each of the faces. So in this case, I'm just going to use the 3D noise because as we are working on 3D, just use this. And this will apply uniformly on the whole surface. So now you can see that we have this kind of contrast and brightness here that allows us to control the intensity of the effect. So right now, for example, if we go low on the brightness, we have the whole cube, and then as we start to increase the brightness, the effect starts doing his job. So yeah, first we can maybe tweak this noise a little bit. As you will know, this uses different types of noises to mask the effect. So it's pretty simple. You can of course do a play standalone here. So now everything is moving. Just go back a little bit. And yeah, now we have like these small parts here. And what we are gonna do next is also share this 3D mask, so I can then use it on another 3D modifier. So now it's shared here. This is the 3D noise. And another cool modifier we can use here is the demultiply. The demultiply, what it does is it's kind of a repeater, but it works on edges. So Francis maybe will explain this better also.
Yeah, so the demultiply makes several copies of the input geometry, and each of these copy is slightly modified by some noise function, but all copies are modified differently. So it's like one object becomes a family of objects, and within this family of objects, every member is slightly different from the others. And we get the addition of all those meshes.
So yeah, now what you are seeing is just the whole mesh being demultiplied, but now if I apply this same 3D noise here, which is going to happen is that we are just repeating on the faces that we are moving. Yeah, I think we are.
Maybe you can show us with additive blending what happens.
With the additive blending on
the surface, just to see the multiple copies of the demultiplier.
like duplicating the renderer, you say, or?
Can I show?
Yeah, sure. You
So maybe if we put this into additive, so I'm not
okay,
sure
the
of
same.
what it is, and reduce the opacity, and also we need to remove the depth test. And then I think we will see. So let me just remove the mask quickly. So we have the full demultiplier. And now we can see the multiple copies of the objects that are being made by the demultiplier. And here, like if you want more, so it's getting a bit slow now because it's a lot of rendering for Smode. But here I just made it with 10 copies. Then you can play on all the parameters, like maybe differentiation can be good in this case. And if we, oh, I lost my mouse, so yeah, please take it again, Jordi. I
Good.
lost my mouse.
No, I think we lost the mouse on the server because I'm not seeing it. Ah, no, now it's back.
Oh, it's back.
Yeah. So
Okay,
yeah.
I let you continue. Sorry, I destroyed everything.
No, don't worry. Just go back here and here. And yeah, you can better see the effect if we just increase this a little bit. You can really start getting crazy effects here that just play with the brightness, for example. You can easily destroy things with this, but for now I think I'm gonna just leave it closer to the original ones. So as you can see here, this is giving some kind of repeating, but just on the faces that are being transformed. And also just let me add here some rotation, so the triangles are not just scaling down but also rotating, which can give really nice results. And yeah, then there are many parameters here that you can play, like the differentiation, which I guess it's like the randomness of this kind of demultiplied instances. But yeah, this is just to show a quick example on how you can do some kind of MoGraph stuff with this. Now it's I don't really like the movement now, so maybe we can just decrease the velocity here on the multiply. And also in Dome, which actually works a lot also, is camera movement. It really helps with immersion, because then you feel you are in a space like it's moving, and yeah. So what we can do now, first I just want to decrease this a little bit so we still see the cube in the beginning.
Maybe you could expose this parameter, the brightness.
Yeah, this I was thinking about this in exposing. So then it's you always have this parameter here, so you can access it whenever you want. And also we will use it later on the timeline. And yeah, to do some kind of camera movement, for example, what we can do is create a path with a knot. Where is the knot? Here, okay. Just let me go check what this knot is. Okay, I'm gonna do this a little bit bigger, like 10. And yeah, now we have this knot. So there is a renderer which is called path animation, which it's mainly used for attaching objects to some path. So we are gonna do this. Just deactivate its render because we don't want to see it, and just drag and drop the camera here and say position. So now what we have is the camera attached to this renderer here. So what we can do now is just move this, and we will move around following this spline. You can see it here. I'm gonna check this again. So the camera is moving, and we can easily animate it with just create linear loop on the parameter and just add a little bit more.
You did it fast, but just as a reminder,
Yeah, I
when you enter
can do it again.
number 30 points, means 30 seconds. It's the easy syntax to enter a number of seconds, is to enter the number and followed by the dot, and that's what Jordi just did without noticing.
Yeah, what I also forgot to explain, just let me disable this and this, is the focal point view in DOM. Usually, the central point of view is the zenith, because it's where the effects work better. But we should change the orientation on the camera, because right now, if I take this box and move it along its y-axis, you will see that it's moving in what it will be the z-axis. So what we usually do is just take the camera and rotate it 90 degrees here. So now if I move the box up, this is going up. I'm really going so high on the parameters. Go back to 1, for example, and yeah, if I move it on the z-axis, it's still working on the z-axis. So yeah, this is an important thing to know, because if you want to do many travelings, like walking around the streets or something like this, and you would like to have your focal point here, all the scenes should have the same focal point here, because otherwise the public will be a little bit crazy, like just having one focal point here, then in another scene here, then on another scene here. So yeah, what we usually do is to set our north here and just play with these two focal points, which is the center on the zenith or here on the z-axis. And yeah, this was just a reminder that I forgot to told you about. So we just can go back here and activate the path animation again to see what this is looking. Okay, yeah. There? Ah, okay. Good. So yeah, I think I'm gonna push this a little bit because it's not the effect I'm looking for. Yeah, now since I increased the cube size, I need to push this a little bit also. So we see our the multiplied faces again. So yeah, this was just to show like some kind of tricks here. So for example, we can go now to the timeline and just bring this parameter in. So here we can say this is at around minus 60. It should be the whole cube, yeah. And then I don't know, let's move to here, for example, and this should be like 100. So now what we have is like this kind of transition. Really crazy that it multiplies, so I'm gonna tweak it a bit more. Three or one, I don't know. Yeah, something like this. Compute normals also gives a better looking effect. And now I just want to show you some compositing tricks. Just want to make sure that this here on the 50, maybe we don't need it that high. We can go to 50, no, 55, maybe. Okay. So yeah, this will be our first comp, which is like we are inside a cube and then we break it just to go to another place. Okay, so just note that imagine we want to do some kind of compositing post-production here. Now, since this is just a compo, we can simply drag, drop an effect here, like, I don't know, brightness and contrast, for example. And this is going to work, okay? But now if we take these 3D objects and put it inside a comp, we are the effect is not working the same way just because no, we put the effect here, sorry. You can see that the effect is not working, and this is because the 360 compose needs to have the camera on the inside. I don't really know why. Maybe this is a topic for Francis.
Yes, I can explain at least the dilemma.
So now if I put the camera here and set it to the current camera, now we see the brightness and contrast is working.
So I can maybe explain why this is so. So the spherical camera makes 6 renderings of the scene, and once it has the 6 renderings, it assembles the 6 images into the DOM master image. And the thing is, what we usually do inside Smode is to mix 2D and 3D layers directly in the same compo. But now the all 3D layers needs to be processed in a first pass that will involve the 6 rendering, and then only becomes 2D that is blendable with other 2D layers. So due to the multiple renders that the camera requires, we can no longer freely mix 2D and 3D, and all the 3D needs to be at least the spherical 3D needs to be made in the 3D pre-comp. But once this is done, we can do usual 3D compositing. So Charles Eli was suggesting on the live on the chat to maybe decrease slightly the number of triangles, but up to you, Jordi.
Yeah, we can increase or decrease.
He suggested decreasing, but you are the boss.
Yeah, it's nice also. And now we have less of this, we can maybe push a little bit the multiply.
So indeed, now we are no longer real time since we are at 10 frames per second.
No, yeah, but maybe we can decrease the cube map resolution a little bit. and also you can see the change here, just going from 1000 to 2000. But
Maybe
yeah,
also
we used
the profile, you can show the profile button maybe also,
yeah.
Jordi.
Yeah, with this button here, you can see what's actually taking more resources on your scene. So right now we see that it's basically the box, mainly because it's just the only thing that we have here. But yeah, just because of we are applying like many layers of 2K textures and those heavy effects, especially the multiply. Yeah, also this is set to 30, not 60 or.
The performance would be higher on air. Can we show the output, Basil?
So
And
I'm
can you
going
go on?
on air.
And yeah, normally we are a bit higher now. But
We are at 25, around 25. So yeah, this is all for the first part. No, since it's it's 6, so I'm gonna just try to show you the 2D compositing workflow really fast. Since
Georgie, I was thinking because it's already 1 hour we are live. If you still have many things to show, we can re-invite you for another session. That's also a possibility.
yeah, I have no problem with that. So as you want.
Because
Uh,
people will be really interested to see the C4D and substance workflow, and it sounds like a whole topic in its whole. So maybe it's a bit late now
Okay,
to.
so maybe I can just show a little bit the 2D compositing workflow here, and then I'll prepare something bigger for the Cinema 4D and Substance workflow. How do you think?
That sounds perfect.
Good. Okay. So yeah, as I told you before, I'm gonna create a new compo, which this is like the inside cube, which will be like the 01 scene. And yeah, as I told you, if you create a spherical camera here, put it on dome master grab mode, 210 degrees. If you are on iceberg dome, otherwise maybe you will need 180 degrees. Let's put this on 1024. Okay, so now as I told you, if we want to have like a 2D clip from stock footage, is a free bonfire that I download. If, as you see, we put this here and we cannot see it. This is just because, as Francis told you, this the Dome Master camera use 3D layers. So the trick we are using, which it's not can even be called a trick because it's like the thing that makes sense. It's just to create a flat plane. And first, let's do this here, the rotation of the camera. So there now. Sorry, it's the server with the connection is a bit slow. Yeah, I don't know. Let's put 10 meters here. Switch this to back. Now we have our plane there. So what we will use is maybe we can use now not a PBR but the surface, which I think it's easier for this kind of stuff. Which is basically we applied the clip here and just set this surface to be auto illuminated and back. So basically now you have your 2D image but on a full DOM workflow. As you see, if as I go down, this is starting to distort. This is because now the deformation it's being applied. Also, this is one trick. The other one will be maybe just use you can just use like points. Like maybe let's say you want to instantiate this fire many times around, so you can just create random points and just add your clip here and check this and increase the parameters, and now you're good to go. You have a lot of fires here, which are all of them in a DOM format. So also if I do something like this, you can see also a deformation. Maybe just put this on another type of blending mode. So yeah, this will be another trick to work with 2D images here, and also note that the random points actually place this on a spherical camera. So what this means is that all the clips are facing the camera. You can change this to vertex or whatever, but in a full DOM scenario, which will work better, it's just to put it on a spherical camera, so they are always facing your camera. And I don't know, now we could travel around like this, or I don't know. I was thinking on my idea was to import here also some 3D objects and do some kind of better compositing, but yeah, since it's a little bit late, maybe we can keep this for another session, Francis. But I will just like to show another interesting thing, which is and I think this will be the last one. So maybe on the next day I can better show the Cinema 4D Substance workflow, and also show a little bit how can we set up a full DOM project on the stage. But yes, you see, for example, this is a model I did in ZBrush, and then I texture it in on Substance. So it's this kind of workflow is really powerful, because since you are working with custom textures, custom objects, you just need to fit Smode with good objects and textures, and then let it do the job. You can render it from here pretty fast, and yeah, that's so good.
Also, maybe it's good to remind that everything works live projected inside the actual DOM. So you can do this on-site adaptation or changing, tweaking the parameters, improving the contents all on-site and by looking at the DOM directly. And like doing Smode live inside the DOM is just like a crazy experience.
Yeah, really. This last year I did my first solo full DOM movie. I did many with EYESBERG, but last year I feel the need to do something just by myself. And the whole movie was entirely rendered on Smode, no Cinema 4D, no After Effects. And which was really good was that since the dome, we owned the dome and we had enough time before the festival, I spent like 3 days inside the dome just doing the final retouchments and the post-production. So yeah, this is like the strength of the software, that you can work on real time and on site, and this it's really a game changer. Just to finish, because I think it's more related to this compositing side. Imagine that you have like this. This is just a frame that I render out from Smode, but this equirectangular one. We found in many projects that we were using 360 footage from some people, and what happens is the same. That if you apply this here, the DOM master camera will not capture this since this 2D image. But in the way we do it is pretty simple. It's just creating a sphere and just texturing this sphere. I'm gonna do the same than before, just switch to the surface mode, which in this case it's easier to set up. This should go like this, this go to back, and yeah, now you can apply this here, and you have your equirectangular image or movie, whatever. You have it now applied to a full DOM environment, and also now you could even correct this on the perspective side, like maybe many of you know the metal plugin in After Effects, which was created just to do this kind of recompositing on equirectangular footage. So yeah, now you have metal in this mode. It's just texturizing in a sphere, and now you can change all the entire point of view of the compositing. And also, if you want, you could I don't know, apply some effects here, like a position noise. Maybe that's too much. But yeah, basically these are the things we use when working in DOM. Like we use a lot of custom 3D and textures, and then when we need to use some kind of 2D images or rectangular footage, this is kind of the workflow that we use. Also, now this will be the last one. Sorry. Since this is a full DOM scene, now if depending on the effects that you apply, you will lose the DOM, the full DOM perspective distortion. Like, let's say, just let me bring this a little bit up, like 500. No, no, this is because of the sphere, right? Just put this on. Yeah, like for example, if you want to mask this, like using a noise mask, this will not be useful in a full DOM, because now when you apply this, you are losing the distortion that the camera gives you. So it's like going back, like this noise here. It's not deformed on a spherical environment. So what we usually do also is like create a compo mask here in layer compo mask, and in this mask I will reproduce a 3 full DOM environment, like creating a sphere again, make it bigger both here, and creating a spherical camera. So where is it? Here, camera, spherical camera, 90 degrees, and DOM master. Okay, so now we have this image here, and now we can again, let's switch this to surface, and on the diffuse we are going to create noise. I don't know why I'm not seeing anything now.
The new surface needs to be in both sides and auto eliminate.
Ah, yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, now this noise is applied with the deformation that it needs to be. We maybe will see this better if I add a pixelate here. So we have squares, and again we can use our friend brightness to do this kind of. So yeah, this is like the workflow we use for masking, especially in the post-production side. Like let's say I received this render and I just want to mix it with another one using this mask trip. So what I will do will be this. So I'm not losing the the distortion that we need. And yeah, I think that's all for today.
Yeah. Maybe we can mention that all classical modifiers, 2D modifiers, still can work, but as we told, not all of them will be relevant. But for example, you could use a 2D blur on the DOM master image,
Yeah.
and that would make some sense.
Yeah, for some effects that are related to color correction and blurs and all that stuff, this is not a real problem. The distortion, it's more relevant when you start like drawing new shapes. This is when things could easily become wrong, like breaking the distortion that we need. So yeah, as you see, I have many layers.
You have to learn us.
Many layers from the substance, so this really allows you to have good good texturing here. As you see, is really good quality here. And at least while you are not animating it, the frame rate is really stable. So yeah, maybe we can do a small loop here just to finish this out. I go from here to here, sinus. Yep. So I think that's all. Yeah, from my side, we can do another session whenever you want. Just focusing a little bit more on this modeling workflow, modeling and texturing workflow.
I think that would be clearly interesting. I learned a lot of things today, so I really enjoyed that session.
Yeah, me too. I'm sorry for those connection problems. Also always you think about doing a lot of things, and then when you see it's time. So yeah, I think I still have some things to show. So yeah, for me it is okay.
Well, so
I don't know if there's any question, maybe, or
other questions. I think
I'm seeing many people that I know in the chat. So hello to everyone.
the grande Jordi, top Jordi, so you have a fan club with you. And
She's my girlfriend, so top job. This is needed to be like this, I think. But yeah, it's Danny here, Jose, Eudal, many people.
yeah, you really have a really super nice team in Spain, and it's a pleasure to have you amongst our users. And I hope all people interested in DOM contents learned a lot of things today.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
so. If not, don't hesitate to write us on Iceberg Studio, and if you need so if someone needs some tips or something, is it okay for us? We are always welcome for the people that wants to learn, and yeah, we really enjoy also showing the things we know.
so
So
as COVID stop, you are all invited in Barcelona. Um, and so thanks a lot. It really was super interesting. And I discovered a lot of techniques I didn't knew about. So that was really great to see.
yeah, really.
And yes, some of them. And I also noticed some things I need to improve in Smud. So that's also interesting, of course.
Yeah,
Like the
we can always
90,
improve, but
yeah.
really good piece of software.
Thank you, Jordi. So thanks everybody for listening to this session. And the last thing I have to do while Jordi is finishing his scene
I'm just
is to
playing. I don't really know what I'm doing, but while you talk, I really like to press buttons.
to so I can continue talking. So we
Yeah,
see
yeah,
the
of course.
um, and what's coming next tomorrow is another topic very interesting with mod, which are controlling light fixtures with mod. So
Good.
modeling fixtures stage. It can be single pixels, LED pixels, strips, or more complex pictures. And we will see how to model them into a 3D stage, and then how to send contents into these fixtures. And in particular, we will focus on a very special type of contents that SMOD provides, which is volumetric layers for LED fixtures. So it will be interesting, I'm sure, and this happens tomorrow.
Yeah,
So,
I must
if,
I must say
yeah,
that as you know, we tried the LED new fixtures, and it's really powerful. Like we used to work on LED installations using Protopixel or Resolume, but at least with those softwares, you are stuck to 2D workflow. So with the things you will show tomorrow, uh, people will see how powerful this can be.
hopefully, yes. So, see you tomorrow, and Jordi probably we see you soon again in the Smode Academy.
Yeah, it's
So, see
perfect for
you
me.
again. Enjoy your evening, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Bye.